Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Samina Pasha to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Samina Pasha's words. Today we will tell you that the issue of Senate tickets has not been resolved yet. In fact, it has become even more complicated. In this regard, some changes have been made very quickly. What efforts are being made? What kind of hustle is going on? We will discuss this. Meanwhile, an announcement came from PTI, specifically from Sheikh Waqas Akram of PTI, stating that ARY channel is being boycotted, and this has started a completely different kind of battle. What was that about? We will discuss that too. Along with this, today, after a long time, Miss Marang Balok was presented in court. What developments have happened from her side? Today, Imran Khan filed an intra-court appeal. We will talk about that too. Furthermore, we will also tell you about further notices being issued to silence some voices. So all of this will be discussed in this vlog, and I request that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's start with the matter of the Senate tickets election, which is still unresolved. You know that Imran Khan's sister, Alima Khan, had delivered a message stating that the party should decide. Meanwhile, Barrister Saif, who had met with them earlier, said that Imran Khan had approved a list and shared it with the media. This list included the names of Mirza Afridi, Mishal Yousafzai and Faisal Javed. However, instead of Mirza Afridi, the names of Khurram Jishan and Irfan Salim from Peshawar were not included. This started a dispute, with party workers questioning why ideological workers were sidelined. Alima Khan had mentioned that Imran Khan's message was that the party should decide on this matter. This meant there was still room for negotiation, and the final decision could be made by party members who could be pressured to prioritise ideological workers, especially those who had served time in prison and worked for the party in 2020. Why shouldn't they get the Senate tickets instead of others who left the party during difficult times but later rejoined? This led to a tussle. We saw that party workers from Peshawar staged protests, first yesterday and then today. They even said they would protest both inside and outside the assembly if Irfan Salim didn't get a ticket. There is also a significant campaign on social media about Khurram Jishan, with many people believing he should be given a ticket. These are ideological workers, fearless individuals who speak openly. Why should someone who is thought to be aligned with the establishment get a ticket instead? During all of this, a PTI meeting was convened, and it was reported that Mirza Afridi had the support of Alim Khan, Barrister Saif and Sheikh Waqas Akram. Meanwhile, Salman Akram Raja consistently stood by the view that ideological workers should be given tickets. This is also Imran Khan's vision. Moreover, it would give encouragement to ground workers fighting battles on the ground, assuring them that they are being acknowledged. After all the discussions, a final list was issued, and it was revealed that the names of Khurram Jishan and Irfan Salim were still not included. Instead, names like Nurul Haq Qadri, Mirza Afridi, Murad Saeed and Senator Faisal Javed were included. The workers who had been protesting for the inclusion of Khurram Jishan and Irfan Salim were disappointed, but they expressed their loyalty to the party and said they would continue to stand with it, regardless of whether they got tickets or not. Khurram Jishan too reiterated that they didn't join the party for positions, but if the matter boiled down to adjusting someone from the elite or wealthy section into party positions, they would not accept it. It seems like both of them are fighting for their rights. Late at night, they met Salman Akram Raja, who listened patiently and reassured them that they would be introduced to Alim Khan, and further discussions would take place at the Chief Minister's house. According to the latest reports, they were taken to the Chief Minister's house for a meeting where either they would be convinced or would convince the leadership. I suspect that Alim Khan is firm on making Mirza Afridi a senator, and it's possible that some adjustments will be made for these workers. However, it doesn't seem likely that they will get tickets. If they do, it will be a significant victory for the workers. It would show that the ideological workers force the leadership to prioritize their perspective. This could be a learning experience for other political parties as well, who may also realize that leadership must listen to the voices of its workers, especially those who stand for the party during tough times. In other parties, leadership tends to make decisions without consultation, and workers have to blindly follow them. But here, in this party, the workers are questioning the leadership and fighting for their ideological colleagues, which I think is very healthy. At the same time, it's possible that Murad Saeed's ticket will be withdrawn and replaced with one of these workers, as Murad Saeed, even if he becomes a senator, wouldn't participate or take the oath. He wouldn't play an active role, so it might be better to adjust someone who will represent the party actively. Regarding Michal Yousafzai, ARY reported yesterday that Barrister Saif confirmed that Imran Khan had approved her name, and it wouldn't be removed under any circumstances. Some believe that Michal has the support of Bushra Bibi, which is why she was given the ticket. But many people are questioning her qualifications and her contribution to the party. For example, Dr. Sanya Nishtar, who recently left the party, had a much higher caliber and earned worldwide recognition for her work, and no one questioned her appointment. But Michal Yousafzai's credentials haven't been as impressive, which raises doubts among some. These are the questions being raised around Michal Yousafzai. Regarding the news from Barrister Saif, senior ARY reporter Naeem Ashraf Butt broke the news on ARY. This caused a sudden development, and we saw Sheikh Waqas Akram hold a press conference announcing that PTI is boycotting ARY for a day because they spread propaganda and false news about us. In my opinion, this was an unwise decision. There was no need for such a drastic step. If you believe the news was wrong, just issue a denial, as every party has the right to do so. If the news is indeed false, it will be clear in a few days. But they didn't just issue a rebuttal. They boycotted ARY for an entire day. This was unnecessary, as many channels spread false news, and PTI doesn't boycott them all the time. Why should they make an issue out of it and give ARY an opportunity to portray them as a party that can't handle criticism? So you can ignore him just like many channels ignore many things. But they went ahead and tweeted about it, saying that PTI is bullying. And now it's time for all channels to stand against this bullying, unite and take a stand. Now, in my opinion, they scored an own goal. It was exactly like saying, please go ahead, hit me, just like Ahmad Yusuf's tweet. It was at a time when you know the current position of your channels. It's completely controlled media. Your own top-class anchor, Kashif Abbasi, has been offered a position. You couldn't take a stand for him. Why then did you offer him a position under pressure? You've accommodated 2 or 3 people on your channels. Everyone knows who pushed for that. You couldn't take a stand for that. Arshad Sharif was dismissed by your channel, and at that time, you didn't take a stand either. There's a long list of instances where the media has compromised, and this wasn't just ARY's doing. All channels did this, but at that time, you didn't unite. You didn't take a stand then that our entire freedom is being robbed, so let's all stand together. At that time, all channels turned into PTVs and stood in line saying, yes, sir. When it was time to take a stand, you didn't. And now you're saying we should take a stand against PTI. What will you gain by standing against PTI? PTI is sitting in power but is being beaten everywhere. So it seems like you're only taking a stand against something that's weak, something that you know can't really harm you right now. And you've never mentioned or openly talked about the real pressures that your media is facing. The situation with your channels is such that you can't even mention Imran Khan's name, show his picture, or air his message. That's the situation you're in. And sometimes you're even told whom to invite and whom not to invite as guests. And in such circumstances, you're giving speeches about how we are such a free media, and if any channel or political party bullies us, we will stand against them. It was a ridiculous statement. In my opinion, it was completely unnecessary and ended up hurting them. After that, I noticed that there was a whole campaign against ARY. This, in itself, was a strange incident. There was a time when RI and PTI were close allies, and PTI's narrative always prevailed over ARY's coverage. But today the situation has changed to such an extent that PTI is boycotting ARY. This is unnecessary, and now ARY is accusing PTI of bullying. Just think about how the situation changes. Anyway, let's talk about the Senate elections now. The issue of unopposed elections is quite surprising. If we look at the numbers, it seems PTI can win 8 seats in the Senate election out of 11. 3 will go to the opposition. But if we're on the safe side, I think PTI will secure at least 7 seats and the opposition will get 4. But the news is coming that an adjustment is being made for unopposed elections with the opposition, where it is being decided that 6 seats will go to PTI and 4 or 5 to the opposition. Just imagine PTI has 92 members and the opposition has around 52 seats, half of them. But in the Senate, they're only adjusting 1 seat. They're saying that instead of 7, 6 will be fine for PTI and they can take 5. This is a very strange matter that they are not even fighting for it. Reports also suggest that Ali Amin isn't confident that his members won't defect and vote with the opposition. After the decision on the special seats, there's confusion about whether PTI members are now declared free to vote for anyone, including the opposition. You know, in the Senate there are often talks of buying and selling votes. So, this adjustment is being done on the safe side to avoid any voting, and they are settling on 6 seats. Is Ali Amin Gandapur afraid that his members will sell their votes? If that's the case, I think it's very unfortunate, because after all this struggle, PTI members are still in a position where they are worried about who to vote for and whether they will sell their votes or not. If that's the case, then what's the purpose of all this struggle? This is a very strange situation for me, that PTI seems ready to lose a seat they could have won. Maybe PTI will gain some benefit from this bargaining. Maybe they will get an assurance from someone. For example, if you give Maulana a seat, you'll tell him not to bring a no-confidence motion against them or something similar. So maybe there is some behind-the-scenes deal, but this seems like a possibility. Moving on to some court-related news, a few updates. Yesterday, a big gathering took place, and Justice Sarfaraz Dogar had his own celebration for becoming the permanent Chief Justice. His speech was funny. He said that he believes in providing justice, and under his watch no one should stay in jail too long. Just imagine, this is the person who is not even fixing appeals in Imran Khan's case, and he's making such statements. Then he tried to speak in English, which caused a lot of questions. If you don't speak English properly, why bother? All the people there speak Urdu, so what's the problem? But he insisted on reading his written speech in broken English, and people questioned the standards of our judges. This raises the question of whether they themselves write these decisions or not. In any case, the whole situation is strange. Meanwhile, judges like Mansoor Ali Shah, Aisha Malik and Baba Sattar are going abroad to international conferences, workshops and seminars. They are invited to share their experiences, and people around the world seek their knowledge. On the other hand, we are sidelining our capable people, putting them in jail, causing them distress, and appointing incompetent individuals in high positions. In another update, Justice Sarfaraz Dogar has formed a committee for administrative matters and sidelined the senior judges of Islamabad High Court who had written letters. He appointed the new judges of the Islamabad High Court for this committee. This rift is continuing because these senior judges are not attending meetings, and they have also filed an appeal about seniority. Imran Khan has also joined this petition in the Supreme Court, challenging the decision about seniority, where the constitutional bench already ruled in favour of Justice Sarfaraz Dogar, so this matter is still ongoing. There's also news that today Marang Baloch was presented in court after a long time. Her physical remand was granted for 15 days, but what stood out was her composure and confidence. She smiled and laughed during the proceedings, even telling the judge that whatever decision is made she will accept, but at least listen to her for a few minutes. Despite everything she's been through, she was calm, confident and composed, which sent a strong message. Her struggle continues, and her smile was the centre of discussion everywhere today. Everyone remarked on how, despite all the oppression, the state hasn't been able to break her. That wraps up our translation of Samina Pasha's video. I hope this English version helped you understand her message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.